Good morning, Flagler County, and welcome to Veterans on Point, a WNZF radio show developed in mind for our county's beloved and respected veterans population and anyone else listening via internet or podcast. I'm your host, David Lyden, the Flagler County Veterans Services Officer. And naturally, I'm here with my friend and colleague at the office, Eric Flores. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Dave, and good morning to all our listeners, our viewers now, and hoping that everybody's doing well health-wise and enjoying the rain that we have and doing that yard over and over again. That's a good thing. So I hope everybody's doing well.
If you're lucky enough to live in Flagler County, you're lucky enough. And if you're a viewer, you notice that we do have a guest in the studio today, and that is Dave Freeman, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army, retired. Good morning, Dave.
Hey, good morning, David.
Good morning,
Eric.
sir.
And we're going to talk to Dave about an adventure that he had this past year. And so we'll save any more to talk about that until then. But it's he had a great time, I think.
Absolutely.
And lost a lot of weight. But we'll talk about how that happened. So, but first we're going to get to, of course, our League of Loyal Listeners, and Billy Jones is at the top of that list.
Morning, Billy.
Billy is at San Cyr now listening, and he is keeping on top of things, trying to get us some singers for the Veterans Day Parade, Memorial Day Parade. So he's still involved in helping out with our different veterans events. So thank you, Billy.
Thank you, sir.
And we got Master Chief Dan and his wife Kay also at San Cyr.
Good morning, shipmate.
And they recently had their 50th anniversary, and Eric and I went up there and
we had a good
celebrated with them. Then our Marine pal Jeff Kingdon. You all know Jeff. He's been a guest host on the show. He's the current Flagler County Veteran of the Year, and he does all these wooden plaques that you see all over the Tri-County area, and now expanding over to Orlando in that area.
He's everywhere, north, south, west.
Talking Tom. I saw Talking Tom this morning. He passed through the office. And
good morning, guys.
We saw Charlie at the VAC meeting on Monday, and his wife Jenny also listens. And then, of course, we've got James. We got James the Mail Maid. We've got Bicycle Frank. We got Frankie Jr. We've got Frankie, his senior, his dad. And speaking of Frankie Jr., as I might have mentioned on the show, provided about 100 challenge coins. Thank you for your service. And while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to give this one to Dave Freeman on behalf of Frankie Jr. So, Dave, here's a coin from Frankie Jr.
Here you go, Frankie.
Thanking you for your service. So, Frankie Jr., as promised, I'm giving those coins out. So,
awesome. This is great. I appreciate it, Frankie.
Yeah, there you go. So, keep listening, Frankie Jr.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so song of the week is going to be the Star Spangled Banner. We're going to resort to our traditional one, Mr. Producer. All right, thank you. And now, Massage by Natalie is a sponsor of the WNZF podcast. And what a great reason for a guy that just got off the Appalachian Trail.
Man.
Have you had your massage yet?
If you have not,
I have had a massage since I've been home.
Okay,
I'm not sure if it was by Natalie, but my wife scheduled a massage for me.
Okay. Well, anyway, Massage by Natalie is at 4871 Palm Coast Parkway Northwest, Suite number 1, and here in Palm Coast. And their phone number is 386-227-7499 for all you veterans out. Oh, not just veterans, but all of you folks out there who've got the achy breaky joint. So, Massage by Natalie. This week, the Air Force has got its birthday on the 18th of September, and Air Force became its own independent branch of the service in 1947. And speaking of 1947, when the Department of War became the Department of Defense, which is now, again, the Department of War. Right? So that's recent. And the 19th of September is POW MIA Day. There's still more than 81,000 POW MIAs unaccounted for. And the POW MIA Accounting Agency, which is part of the U.S. Department of War, is the primary organization still searching for and accounting for missing American service members and civilians from the Vietnam War and other conflicts The organization conducts recovery missions, analyzes remains to identify and repatriate those remains. So that is this Friday, every third Friday in September. And the county will be doing a proclamation at their meeting on the 15th. So keep an ear out for that. If you watch the Board of County Commissioner meetings on YouTube or you want to attend. All right. So, Dave, you said you do listen, and I don't know if you were on the trail for a long time, but we've been, as a veterans show, been talking about our presidents, which are, the commander-in-chief. So each week for now, I guess, almost 30 weeks, we're at the 30th president of the United States, and that is Calvin Coolidge. And we talk about some interesting and maybe some little-known facts about these presidents. Anything that comes to the top of your head about Calvin Coolidge?
Calvin Coolidge was I think, was it right before the Depression? Or
well, he was the presidency was from 1923 to 1929.
Yeah.
So his presidency is often overshadowed by the more flamboyant figures of American history, yet his life and presidency brim with intriguing and lesser-known details. Born on July 4th, 1872 in Plymouth Notch, Vermont. Did you pass by there?
I did. Went right through Vermont.
Okay. Coolidge was the only president to share his birthday with the nation's founding. His rural upbringing shaped his frugal, no-nonsense character, earning him the nickname Silent Cal for his taciturn nature. But beneath the quiet demeanor lay a man of wit, principle, and surprising quirks. Coolidge's ascent to the presidency was unexpected. As Warren Harding's vice president, he assumed office on August 2nd, 1923, after Harding's sudden death. The transition happened in his Vermont family home, where his father, a notary public, administered the oath by kerosene lamp at 2:47 a.m., a uniquely rustic inauguration. Coolidge's presidency, spanning 1923 to 1929, coincided with the Roaring Twenties, a time of economic prosperity. His belief in limited government and physical restraint defined his policies. He slashed federal spending, reduced taxes, and maintained a budget surplus, contributing to the era's economic boom. Yet, he foresaw the speculative excesses that led to the 1929 stock market crash, privately expressing concerns about the unchecked market exuberance. Less known is Coolidge's fascination with animals, which turned the White House into a veritable menagerie. He kept raccoons, including one named Rebecca, who had a custom-built cage and was often seen perched on his shoulder. The Coolidges also housed a monkey, a bobcat, and even a pygmy hippo named Billy, gifted, not you, Billy Jones, gifted by a Liberian diplomat. This eclectic collection reflected Coolidge's playful side, rarely seen in public. His dry humor was another hidden gem. At a dinner, a guest bet she could get more than 2 words out of that she could get more than 2 words out of him. Coolidge's response, "You lose." His brevity wasn't aloofness, but a deliberate choice rooted in his belief that words should carry weight. He was also an early adopter of radio, using it to connect with Americans, delivering 529 press conferences, more than any president before him. Coolidge's personal life was marked by tragedy. His younger son, Calvin Jr., died at 16 from an infected blister during his presidency, a loss that deeply affected him. After leaving office in 1929, he declined to run again, retiring to Northampton, Massachusetts, where he wrote his autobiography and newspaper columns. He died suddenly in 1933 at 60, leaving a legacy of restraint and integrity. Coolidge's unassuming style belied a principled leader who navigated a vibrant era with steady hands, quirky pets, and a sharp, understated wit. And here's a quote of the week from Calvin Coolidge. "Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. And that's Calvin Coolidge. I kind of butchered his quote. But anyway, Calvin Coolidge, our 30th President of the United States. And Dave, we learn something every week from our presidents' bios or interesting little-known facts. And as Eric always reminds us, they're human just like all of us.
Oh, yes.
And they have their frailties, they have their tragedies, and they have their great abilities, too. So that is our President of the Week. And this is the time of the program, where I say, drivers, the DAV is seeking volunteer drivers. I think they have a good complement of volunteer drivers now, but that list kind of ebbs and flows, so you always need to check into the DAV Chapter 86 to find out how you can be a volunteer driver by calling 386-439-2122. You don't have to use your own vehicle to be a volunteer. The DAV has VA vehicles for that purpose. You do need to be insurable. You do need to have a background check done by the VA. So find out how to be a volunteer, but also you can use that number to find out how to use the service so that you can be picked up at your home and taken to a VA appointment, whether it's at the medical center, the clinic, a community care network appointment, or even a service-connected disability compensation examination. So DAV, Chapter 86, 386-439-2122. Got to remind you that the the Veteran of the Year nominations are open and still open till the end of this month. So get those into Eric or myself. If you want the instructions for the nominations, give us a call. I think I failed to mention we are your veteran service officers at 1769 East Moody Boulevard in Bunnell with the phone number 386-313-4014. And the Flagler Veterans Day Parade. You're still on the committee, right? You're
Absolutely.
Back at it? Okay.
Yep.
And so, again, the parade, of course, is going to be on Veterans Day, which is Tuesday, November 11th. Parade's going to be at 10 o'clock. It's going to start at the old Coquina building at US 1 and Moody Boulevard and go the 3/4 of a mile up to the Government Services Building, where we'll have our Veterans Day celebration, which tentatively will be at 11 whenever the parade's done. To register for the parade, flaglerveteransdayparade.com. Make sure you use that and do it in advance, much in advance. Don't wait till the last minute. You might get blocked out.
Yes, please do so.
And just one last thing before we get to Dave Freeman. And I just saw today in my email that the Orlando VA healthcare system announced that it has again earned a 5-star rating as part of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services 2025 hospital quality ratings. So I know Eric and I are in use the Orlando VA healthcare system. I think you're a North Florida Gainesville guy, right?
I am.
Right.
Good luck with that one. I'm just joking.
But Orlando, again,
it's great.
So,
yeah.
Veterans that pass through our office are very satisfied with their VA health care, whether it be through Gainesville or Orlando, St. Augustine, or Daytona. So I encourage you, if you're a veteran and you're eligible, enroll. Even if you're a retiree and you've got TRICARE, it's always good to be in the system, too, because you never know when you might need it. And
even if you have a disability, we have some veterans that they're disabled, rated by VA, but they're not enrolled in the VA healthcare system.
Yeah,
looking for probably HISA or some of that stuff like that.
And then when they really need it, and they're laid up somewhere, and their family comes searching for how to do it, it's harder. It's not impossible. But be proactive. Get enrolled. You don't have to change what you do with your private insurance or your private doctors. The VA just becomes another resource. And keep your toe in the water. Just go down once a year, meet who your primary care doctor is, and do the blood work. And you stay in the system. And then when it comes time to need it, it's available.
It's there. Correct.
All right, that's that. So we're back to Lieutenant Colonel Freeman. who had a great adventure. This started in March, right?
You did? Yeah.
Started in March. An old warrior out there on the Appalachian Trail, 2,200 miles.
That's a lot.
Over 60 years old. Well, that's not a secret, is it?
No.
Went from Georgia to Maine in 158 days. Lost 25 pounds, burning 4,000 calories a day. Right?
That's pretty good summation.
Summed it up, right?
Yep.
So fill us in on the rest.
All right. Well, I had a great opportunity last year. The Appalachian Trail is something that I've always wanted to complete, and I have been doing some section hiking of that trail the last 10 years with friends from either church or school. Ryan Andrews from one of the principals here in Flagler and Marcus Sanfilippo both have hiked with me on the AT during section hikes. And last October, I was, thinking, how can I hike the entire AT? Who could I do that with? And I stumbled across an organization called Warrior Expeditions. And it is a nonprofit for combat veterans. And they have basically 3 different types of expeditions. One of the expeditions is a through hike of the AT. Another one is a paddle of the entire Mississippi River.
Wow.
Another one is a bike across America, basically starting in Washington, D.C., going to Washington State. And so I went online, reached out to them, got the information, submitted an application. They take applications all the way up to, I believe, the end of October of each year. And then they require you, they look at your application, and they require you to do an interview. And so I did an online interview with them. For those 3 expeditions, they take between 35 and 40 combat vets. This past year, they had over 400 combat vets apply. I was blessed to be selected to do that, to do the AT. That was my first choice. I really did not want to do a paddle or a bike at this time.
I think I could do that one.
Paddle, I asked that question to him. Is that paddle? I'm pretty sure it's downstream. Because
it is downstream.
Nobody can do the upstream, believe me.
Yeah, I think you start up in Michigan somewhere or Wisconsin.
Like Tom Sawyer.
Yeah. So I was blessed to be a part of that. For the AT, they had 20 slots, and they do it in 2 different groups. I was in the first group that started on March the 18th. We initially had 10 veterans that were part of our group. One of them, due to either family or physical reasons, medical reasons, he had to drop out. So we started with 9. And then the second group, I believe, started with 10, and they started a week after we started our hike.
Still a little chilly in March, huh?
It is chilly in March. Our first, the first 4 days of the hike, we started at Amicola Falls, which is the approach trail to the Appalachian Trail. It's 8.8 miles until you get to the Appalachian Trail. So we had to hike until we even got there. And we started at Amicola Falls, and we started with 2 others that had completed it last year and were kind of like mentors for us for the first 4 days. So we were required to stay together and hike with them, which was good. We could ask them questions. Some of us had never, ever hiked before. We had a day or 2 before we even started to go over our equipment and how to, set up your equipment and how to
establish a reasonable pace.
That's right.
Yep.
And
don't to burn yourself out in the first.
That's right. You don't want to start off, and so the first 4 days were okay. We're going to hike, 8 miles this day. The next day is going to be 10 miles, and so forth. And then after that, it was hike your own hike. And you could hike at whatever pace that you were,
And you were up to like 17 to 20 miles a day or something like that?
Yeah, my average at the very end was, getting up to about 20 miles a day. And so our first couple weeks, we stayed together as a group, our first group. We were hiking together. We weren't hiking all at the same time. We would start off together and then finish at the same place. And so that was great. You were able to get to know the fellow veterans. None of us knew one another. And everybody ranged in age from, I think the youngest vet was 28. And I was the oldest. I was 63 at the time. I turned 64 on the trail. Another guy was 62, lives here in Florida over in the Villages. And so by the time we finished, out of the 9 that started, 7 of us in that group, in the first group, finished. So there were a total of 19 that started, and I think there will be about 13 that complete, which is a pretty good percentage. About 1 in 4, 1 in 5 actually complete a through hike of the AT.
And even fewer 60-plus-year-olds, according to...
Yeah, according to the ATC, which is the Appalachian Trail Conservatory, there's, I think since 1936, they say 750. I have over 60 have completed. I think there's probably maybe a little bit more than that. That seems a little bit low to me. But, yeah, that's what they
recorded
say.
Anyway.
Right, recorded, right. So it was a great experience. I was blessed to be a part of that organization. Warrior Expeditions is just a super organization. One of the benefits that they provided to AT hikers was that they provided supporters along the way. And that's what really made the hike really enjoyable, was the support group. So about every 70 miles or so, there was somebody that had signed up wherever along the trail, 14 states, that they had signed up to support veterans. And so I would, look on my spreadsheet and see that I'm going through Virginia, through this town, and I would see that there's a supporter here. I would reach out to them. They would say, okay, when you get to this road junction, this mile marker, text me and I'm going to pick you up, and then I'm going to take you home, stay, feed you, let you stay,
cool.
in a bed, take you to do a resupply, maybe do some slack packing, which is, you get to stay an extra couple days with them, where you leave most of your gear and you go out and you hike without all your gear, and it's a little bit more enjoyable hike, and you're still doing the miles,
less taxing,
right? So they would do that for you, and that was the benefit of this organization. And it was just amazing how people would come out and want to support veterans. I mean, just unbelievable. Yeah. And some of those supporters were very well off, and you'd stay in their home and you say, wow, man, this is nice. And then some of them were not. And you knew that they probably struggled, but they elected to support veterans, which was just awesome. I was touched by that. Great organization. I would encourage anybody who has a desire to do any of those 3 expeditions to look on their webpage, look it up. There's a lot of media. There's a tab for media.
And take a shot at it.
Take a shot. Submit your application. One thing, we asked, well, how did you choose out of 400? How do you choose that? And they look at, number one, can the person complete the task?
Right.
And then number 2 is, will you benefit from this? Because the very first person to hike the Appalachian Trail was a combat vet. It was Earl Schaefer. He was a World War II vet, and I believe in 1947 he ended up hiking the Appalachian Trail, first person, and he said he was hiking the war out of them.
Oh, yeah.
So,
wow.
It's an outdoor therapy where, when you're hiking for that long period of time, you got nothing to do but think, and you can think about how your time in the military, your combat service that you had.
Well, it's better to think about that stuff out in nature, where you can rejuvenate yourself with positive things, than to sit on your couch and think about it.
Absolutely,
right.
Yep.
And that's what it's there for.
That's the whole premise of it, is getting out there and working through that experience that you had.
Right, and just being part of everything that's good out there.
It sounds to me that they're very well organized.
It is. It's just an awesome organization, and I would encourage anybody to look them up and, even contribute to what their cause is.
Good point.
Yep.
Good point. So We were down to under 2 minutes, but I think that I see Pennsylvania was your favorite spot to go through.
Well, Pennsylvania was, we like to call it Rocksylvania. I mean, a lot of rocks and a lot poisonous snakes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, the copperheads.
Wow.
Copperheads
Copperheads up
and
there.
rattlesnakes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the timber rattlers.
Yeah. But I had a great experience with hiking with fellow veterans, bonded with all of them in my group. I mean, I would hike with any of them. And it was just a great experience overall. And I was able to, my son is a veteran. He met me on the last, at the summit of Katahdin. He met me and we hiked up to Katahdin together and summited together. And so I summited with my
That's really cool, too.
veteran son. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had a great time. I'm proud of you for doing that, old warrior. And that's an amazing accomplishment.
It is.
And so I got to remind everybody, thank you, David, for being here.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
And no country, no state, no community does more for veterans than the United States of America. As you see, the Warrior Expedition is part of that whole fabric of the United States of America, taking care of veterans. The great and free state of Florida, the wonderful Flagler County, the lovely city of Palm Coast, and all of our beautiful beach cities. Be a victor, not a victim. Be a victor like Dave Freeman.
Exactly.
Be educated, not indoctrinated. And most importantly, be kind to someone today or many someones. And again, Dave, thanks for being here. Eric,
Thank you, sir.
Any final thoughts?
Guys, thanks for watching our show, and we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.